Welcome back, everybody. If you're new, my name's Nicholas, and this is Investing Against the Grain. If you guys are new, a lot of new subscribers, just want to let you guys know the point of this channel is for me to give you my perspective on Tesla and other technologies from an engineering perspective. My background's in mechanical electrical engineering, transition into a software systems engineer, so I kind of hold the whole gamut when it comes to engineering. But the main point of this channel is to talk about Tesla because Tesla's the main investment I'm in. Actually, Tesla's the only investment I'm in besides real estate. And so a lot of our discussions focus around Tesla. So with that said, and that, kind of highlighting what this channel is for any of you who are new, do me a favor. If you like this type of content, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. And with that said, let's talk about today. Today, the stock market with Tesla, to me, was arguably the most important day that we've had for the entire week. What do I mean by that? Well, the best way to explain this is to dive into the charts. So take a look at this. So this was today's price action. And, for those of you who are wondering about, how I invest, I'm all about long-term investing. Okay, so I know I'm going to talk about some short-term stuff here, but really my philosophy is set it and forget it. Now, I think it's very important for you to stay in touch with what's going on day-to-day basis, weekly, monthly, things of that nature, so that you're in tune with your investments. And so that's why we like to look at these at a detailed level. So anyways, why was today so significant, especially when we had a week where we ran up from essentially $925 to $1,040, and now we're sitting here closing at about $1,010. Well, because this week we start to lose steam. Like, let's take a step back here. Let's look at that from a day perspective. So if I scroll in here, this is from a day perspective. You can see we've had nothing but green candle after green candle, right? So when we look at this, though, you can see that Tesla started to lose steam here, right, with each one of these days, right? We can see like the movement higher was starting to lag. Well, the reason I think this was so important is because today we start to bounce around $1,000 a lot. And so if I scroll back here from the day, you can see that we were here, especially in the last hour, right? We were just essentially between 107, 108 all day. And in the last hour, we fell all the way down to 998. But then as we closed into that hour, we actually closed with a lot of strength. You can see it moving up here. And we closed at $110, maybe even 114. No, $110.64 is what we closed at. The reason that's so significant is because $1,000 is a very psychological barrier. And the fact that as we're quote unquote losing steam with this rally, the fact that we're still holding this strength is a very strong signal. And in my opinion, this means that maybe Tesla's just taking a breather before it continues to run up. After all, when it comes to Tesla, we have a lot of exciting things coming up. For instance, next week is the final week for Q1. All right, so that means that I think Q1 ends on Thursday. I think that's the last day of the month. But that means within a day or two, we'll go ahead and get delivery numbers for Q1 of Tesla, right? The total amount of vehicles that they delivered from Shanghai, from Fremont, from Berlin, and maybe Austin. I don't know. I don't think so, but maybe. So that's going to be a very big deal because once we get those numbers, then we can go ahead and input it into our models, and we can start figuring out, well, okay, what did Tesla do? How big of a deal is this? What's the quarter going to look like? And that's when analysts can go ahead and start making the predictions. They'll probably start raising their predictions. They can change their forecast for the future because if Tesla blows it out in Q1, well, you better believe Q2, Q3, Q4 can be better, especially now that Berlin's open. That means they're going to be able to produce more cars. And if Austin is officially live on April 7th, hence, the Giga Austin Fest starts to happen then, well, you better believe we're going to have bigger numbers. So, it's just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. And I think analysts are going to have trouble trying to, figure out how to model this out. And I also think, and again, these are my thoughts, my opinions. I have no reason to believe this is factual, but I think it's going to be. I think Berlin is going to ramp faster than we saw Shanghai ramp. And I think we'll see something similar with Austin. So that's pretty exciting if that becomes true. All right. So what else do we have to look forward to? So that's next week alone, right? But then we also have Austin opening up. And we see what happened here. I mean, this whole run up wasn't just the Fed announcing what they're doing with the rates. This was also on the back of Berlin opening, all right? So if this is what we saw with Berlin opening, what happens when Austin is officially open and live? History doesn't necessarily repeat, but you never know, right? It's a potential catalyst yet again, and who knows what gets said then? Who knows what Elon says? Maybe there's some more things are hinted out. Maybe we learn more about the Model Ys that are coming out of Giga Austin. Maybe we find out, are they producing with 4680s, right? We saw those new EPA ranges. What does that mean? Or do we have these new EPA ranges for the standard model that is 270 miles per charge? Is that because they're using the 4680 batteries? Do they use less 4680 batteries? Is there an LFP version? Or are they really just using LFP batteries because it is a standard version and they can just get a more efficient build because they have those LFP batteries inside of a structural pack? Who knows? We don't know anything really. But the point is, there's news that we're going to know, and at least from an engineering perspective, it's extremely, extremely interesting. Whether it's battery chemistry, whether it's 4680s just being less, whether it has to do with the function of going from essentially carrying the batteries like a potato sack to it being part of the actual chassis, right? That has a lot of effects from a weight distribution perspective, what it does with the vehicle, how it moves. I mean, there's a lot of implications there. So a lot of exciting things there. And then after that, a few weeks later, then we have earnings call. And I've been talking about this a lot. I don't think Elon Musk will be on the conference call. There's really no reason for him to be on there. Last time it was just because he wanted to give an update on the product roadmap. This time I don't think he'll be on there. So I think that will bode well for the stock at least, because Zach is essentially masterful at the earnings call that he did alone. Well, it's him and Drew, but they were masterful at it. They were calm. They were very ambiguous with some of their answers, which, is good. They were also very direct with their answers, and they also didn't go off on tangents and talk about, future products or anything of that nature. Wall Street wants to hear about next quarter and the quarter after that. Wall Street cares about looking at things only from a quarterly lens. Elon doesn't look at things from a quarterly lens. Elon just looks at things from a Elon lens, and that doesn't always jive with what Wall Street wants. So a lot of good things coming up. Very happy about where the stock ended this week. I'm sure a lot of you are happy, especially if you have any option contracts out there. I know a lot of people who invest in Tesla. A lot of my viewers here have a lot of long-term options, a lot of leap contracts out there. So I'm sure many of you are feeling pretty good right now. Pretty happy maybe about some of those leaps you bought, back in December or early January. Like, oh, there's no way we're going to go below 900, and we went down to 695, I believe it was. So, glad that we're back up. This is good. Hopefully we can sustain this moving forward. All right, let's talk about some other stuff. I want to talk about FSD a little bit here, and I do have a little bit of a announcement FSD related, and it's nothing breaking news for Tesla. It's just a me personal thing that I'm excited about, so stay tuned for that. I'll talk about that at the end here, but I wanted to talk about this rumor noise out there regarding FSD Beta. And I thought this was squashed, to be honest. I thought people like Sawyer Merritt, I thought Omar, I thought plenty of people on Twitter kind of squashed this, but I guess not. So, this will be my public service announcement here about this. So there was a loophole whenever you buy a Tesla where you could go ahead and add the FSD Beta option. As we all know by now, Tesla has gone ahead and told people and, are essentially prioritizing anybody who is purchasing FSD Beta, right? The $12,000 option on top of their vehicle. So what Tesla's saying is if you purchase FSD Beta, you will get your vehicle sooner. Okay, so that's great from a Tesla perspective. There are a lot of naysayers about it, and I'll touch on that in a second as well. But there was a loophole, and the loophole was people were adding the Beta onto their order, and then after they placed their order, they were going back and they were deleting the Beta option so that they could get their vehicle sooner. Well, Tesla found this loophole, and they got rid of it. They essentially went ahead and informed people and went ahead and changed the syntax within their disclosures, saying if you remove FSD Beta, you will get pushed back to a further delivery date, right? So that makes sense. But somehow people didn't understand that, which seems pretty straightforward to me, and they took it to mean that Tesla changed what they were doing, and instead of prioritizing people who bought FSD Beta, that the whole thing was essentially a mistake, and they're not prioritizing anyone with FSD beta, and that's just not true. The only thing that changed was they got rid of the loophole where you could put FSD beta and then get rid of it post order purchase. Okay, or order place, not purchase. So that's all it was, and I don't know why this is so confusing for people, but yeah, I don't know what else to say. I mean, I feel like it's pretty straightforward. I like to pride myself on being somebody who can take complicated things and distill it and make it, a lot more simple for people and digestible. But that's pretty damn straightforward in my opinion. All right, now let's take a moment here to address all these naysayers out there that think Tesla's doing the wrong thing by prioritizing people with FSD beta. All right, again, this is more noise I'm seeing out there, which is just kind of crazy. So the argument is Tesla should not be prioritizing people who add FSD beta, and instead they should be giving out or providing deliveries for people based on who ordered first. All right, I guess at a very high level, you hear that and you think, okay, yeah, that sounds logical. That makes sense. All right, until you start to kind of peel the onion back and you just think about it from so Tesla's a business first and foremost, and the business is all about accelerating the advent of sustainable energy. That's the goal. It's not about your feelings. It's not about my feelings. It's not about anyone's opinions. It's to accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. The more revenue Tesla can make, the faster they can help accelerate the advent of sustainable energy. That's simple. Okay, so you and anyone who thinks that they can tell Tesla how to do things and what's right and what's not right, you're wrong at the end of the day, because this is their mission. And what you're saying does not agree with their mission. Now, I also hear people saying, oh, but Tesla could have done this all along. Why weren't they doing it before if it was about the mission? Well, it's pretty obvious if you've been watching any of the FSD beta on YouTube, right? All these YouTubers are pretty transparent with it. The beta wasn't quite there. It wasn't at a point where Tesla's ready to push it that aggressively. Now it is. It's that simple. Hence also why the price went up. Elon said this all along. As we get closer to completion, we will be increasing the prices. And now they're pushing it for people to be prioritized if they purchase it. I mean, this is pretty straightforward. So that's the business side of it. That's the mission side of it. But then there's a societal aspect of things where this is how our society works. Okay, at least in the West, is all I can say. I've never lived in the Far East, so I don't want to speak for them. But in the West is how it works. It's no different than if you were to go to a theme park, right? If you go to a theme park, everybody can stand in the general assembly lines. Or if you go to a concert, same kind of thing. But if you don't want to wait all day in lines, you can pay a little bit extra and you can get the fast pass, which means you can go into that private little line that allows you to go by everybody and you can go on more rides throughout the day, right? But guess what? Other people might have gotten in line for that ride first before you. Well, guess what? The people with the fast pass get to go on first. It's just the way it works. Concerts, same way. You can get a general admission ticket, or you can get a VIP ticket, which you pay more for. And guess what? You probably get in sooner. You probably get some open bar privileges, things of that nature. Airplanes work the same way. Guess what? You can book your ticket before I do. You can get to the airport before I do. But guess what? If I booked a first class ticket and if I have TSA pre-check, it doesn't matter how much sooner you book your ticket. I will get through line faster because I have TSA pre-check, and I will get on that flight before you with a beverage of my choice, champagne, Jack on Ice, doesn't matter. I'll get that before you do because I paid for the first class ticket. This is the way it works, all right? And this is no different than with Tesla putting people who purchase FSD beta first, right? I mean, this seems pretty common sense to me. Hotels work the same way. You have higher status, you pay more, you do more business with the chain. I'm a Marriott person personally, so I do everything through Marriott. If I go into the W in Boston, where I recorded a video not too long ago, guess what? I'll get priority before you because I'm Diamond for life. I'm going to get priority because I've done so much business with Marriott. Doing FSD beta gets more business to Tesla, hence priority. I mean, and then there's also the FSD, the technology argument. I mean, you can go all day. The point is, this is the right move for Tesla any way you slice it. So I'm sorry for anybody who's, a little butthurt about it, but I think this is the right move. And this is just my opinion, all it is. With that said, let's use FSD Beta as a transition to the exciting news that I had. So today, this morning, went to the gym with my fiance like we always do every morning. Many of you know I'm a CrossFit person, so we go to our box and somebody who's at our gym, I see this person every single morning. They parked their Model Y. We happened to park right next to each other, and they had the white interior seats. And we'd been curious for quite some time, curious about how it is after, when we work out, we get pretty dirty afterwards. And so getting in there, getting the seats dirty, we have dogs, so just curious, how tolerable they are. And so I just approached this gentleman, I asked him, hey, question, how you like your Model Y? And, right away started talking about like how much he loves it and all this stuff. And then, he, on his own, started talking about, oh yeah, the best part is, I drive here to the gym, I don't do anything. The car drives itself. And they dropped that they said the FSD drives it all by himself. And I was like, oh, you mean autopilot, right? Just correcting them. And they're like, and they said, no, I'm at FSD. And I looked at them and I said, FSD Beta, you have the beta? And they said, yeah. I was like, oh, I didn't know you were a beta tester. And they're like, yeah, I'm an employee. We all get beta. And I just started laughing, like, get out of here. I didn't know you're an employee. I've been working out with this person every single morning for, over a year now. And so we got to talking, and they agreed to take myself and my fiance out for a test ride, in the coming days, and to really get a feel for the beta. And I'm pretty sure that it will, at least what I was being told, in the morning, it was early in the morning, so who knows, maybe there's misinterpretation, but I asked what version they had, and he said, I don't really know. We get new versions like every 2 days, every 3 days. So I'm pretty sure whatever version they have won't even be 10.11. I could be mistaken, but it seems like it'll be a more recent version, right? Or just any of those like little micro changes that they constantly push out. So pretty excited about that. I did promise them I would keep them completely anonymous. I wouldn't record anything, and it's more just to, look at it, experience it from an engineering perspective, and just, kind of geek out on the technology a little bit. So I'll report back once we go for our drive, and, hopefully I have good things to say. I'm not here to bash Tesla or FSD, but, I'll be honest. But frankly, I think I'm going to be pretty excited and pretty impressed with what I see, especially after seeing all the YouTube videos right now with 10.11. I mean, it is unreal how minimal the disengagements are going. I remember recently Elon Musk tweeted about version 11, right? People were asking, oh, when's V11? When's V11 coming out? When's the full stack coming? Elon responded saying, we're getting to a point where we're having fewer and fewer disengagements, so it doesn't really make sense to go ahead and go cut over to 11 until, we have even less, disengagements when City Streets is a little more complete, right? But we're almost there. We barely have disengagements. And it seemed like everybody kind of roasted him, right? Everybody's like, have you not been watching the videos? Have you not been watching the videos? Do you not know this, that, or whatever? And then all of a sudden, 10.11 drops. And all I'm seeing on YouTube is everybody saying, okay, I barely have any disengagements. Like maybe something here, maybe something there. It's definitely not complete, but the engagements have dropped precipitously. So I'm pretty excited to see what happens. Either way, very kind of this individual to, allow us some of their free time so that we can go experience it for ourselves and, just kind of geek out for the day. So I'm pretty excited about that. All right. Well, with that said, it's Friday. It's the end of the week. I think we had a great week. I think you would all agree with that. We're ending the week above $1,000. All right. 2 weeks ago, we were in the 700s. I mean, my goodness, this is just absolutely a great thing. So lots of gratitude. I say this pretty much every Friday now. Make sure you spend the weekend with your loved ones. Take stock of what you have in your life. You have a fridge full of food. You have air in your lungs. You have clean water. Hopefully you have some good supportive people around your family. Go outside, get some sun. At least here in Florida, the weather is absolutely beautiful. All of our windows are open, so we're really enjoying it. But I want to leave you guys with one more thing. So I saw this earlier today, and I found it pretty impactful. It says, Albert Einstein once wrote on a chalkboard, 9 times 1 equals 9, 9 times 2 equals 18, so on and so forth, all the way down to 9 times 10 equals 91. Clearly wrong. Suddenly, chaos erupted in the classroom because Einstein made a mistake. Obviously, the correct answer to 9 times 10 isn't 91, and all his students ridiculed him. Einstein waited for everyone to be silent and said, "Despite the fact that I analyzed 9 problems correctly, no one congratulated me. But when I made one mistake, everyone started laughing. This means that even if a person is successful, society will notice his slightest mistake. So don't let criticism destroy your dreams. The only person who never makes a mistake is someone who does nothing." So take that with you this weekend. You know, to me, I sat with that for a second, you know, and it's I don't even know if Einstein really said this or not, but either way, I think it's very impactful. You know, it's true. I mean, we do so much right, you know, in our lives, so much good, and it's the negative or the mistake that gets highlighted and scrutinized. I mean, just look at the news, right? That's all the news is, just the negative stuff because it gets attention. So much of YouTube is like that. It's just negativity, clickbait, you know, and we need more positivity in the world. You know, it's one of the reasons why it's so easy and infectious to become in love with Tesla and their mission. I mean, you heard during the Giga Berlin, you know, opening a couple days ago, Elon Musk's mission was, it's not too late. You need to be excited about the future, be hopeful about the future. It's bright. You know, we need more of that and less of the sensationalism, less of the negativity, and less of the berating someone for making a silly mistake. Right? We need to be more positive. So that's how I want to end this video. I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed the content. For all of you people who are new, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed, it's pretty easy. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring that bell. I love you all. Peace.